Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is a special edition of Carissa Crafts Live. If you know, you know. I'm Carissa Wiley, by the way, from sprinkledwithglitter.com, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to my craft room, and welcome to this live today. So here's the deal. I went on Instagram, and I asked you all if you wanted a live unboxing of the brand new Anna Griffin Empress Elite, and a lot of you wanted to see it. Now, I have to tell you, I wasn't going to buy this machine. In fact, I had already decided that I didn't need it. And I'll talk about why I didn't need it in just a bit. But someone kind of commented on one of my YouTube videos, I can't remember if it was live or not, that they didn't want to get the Elite because they changed the plates. And I thought, you know what? I need to get that machine and I need to show that they actually didn't change the plates. Linda says, I'm looking good in pink. Thank you. My husband picked my outfit today. I got home from church and it's Sunday. We went to church and I went to go change and I said, what should I wear? And he just happened to be in the closet changing at the same time because, you know, we had just gotten home from church. He said, how about your pink sweatsuit? And I said, that sounds amazing. So I have the pink sweatsuit on. If you know, the pink sweatsuit is kind of an ode to my grandma, who we called Gigi. She wore a pink sweatsuit all the time. So when I'm in my pink sweatsuit, I feel like Gigi a little bit. So anyway, thank you for that. I did my hair this morning because I went to church, and I feel it's doing some things. It's doing some things, but it's got some curl. And so we're going to unbox. We're going to unbox this new Elite. I have my standard Anna Griffin Empress right here, the OG Empress. And I'm going to show you some things. So we'll get into this. We'll talk about it. I'm going to answer your questions. And so if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the comments as we're walking through this. Type the word question in all capitals. That will help me see it as I'm kind of getting going. But I have to tell you, look at how big this box is. I had to move it off to the side because it's so huge I couldn't put it in front of me. Because the box is so big, there's other things in this box because this is an order from scrapbook.com. Because the box is so big, I'm going to zoom out as far as I can go on the overhead, but it's gonna be an issue. It is what it is. Okay, so let's go to the overhead. And do you see how big this is? It doesn't even fit. It does fit on my glass mat, but I just can't get as far out as I need to. I'm going to have to stand up for just a second. So my little picture-in-picture here, you can see the box is coming into my picture-in-picture. But I'm going to stand up. I'm going to smile for you on top of my box before we open it. And hopefully the box inside the box will be smaller and then we can get this big box out of the way and move it. But I can't show you the whole thing, but it's a huge box. So also I have linked the Anna Griffin Empress Elite in the YouTube description below. And I did a little research on pricing. Now, pricing is going to change if you're watching this video on replay, but as of today, scrapbook.com seem to have the lowest price with free shipping unless you use like a 15% off at HSN, which you can get when you sign up for their newsletter email. Now, if there's something in here, I'm going to just peek here, and I have to do this carefully because I can't hit my camera in front of me. So these views are not going to be the best for just a second. So, okay, let's move that down. Okay, we have our little packing stuff. And as I thought, there's a box within a box, so that's going to work in our favor. So let me just move some of this out of the way. And I did not open this on purpose because you all wanted to see an unboxing. This is the real deal unboxing here, right? There's no other way to put it. Now, some of the other stuff I ordered from scrapbook.com is the large 4-inch rolls of adhesive because I need to make more of my foam panels. So that's in this order. So I'm going to set those aside. And I ordered, let's see, I don't even know what I ordered. I ordered some Spellbinders Best Ever Craft Tape right here. I got to turn this over because my address is there. Let me just pull this out real quick. I have my address showing. We don't need that. I have some Best Ever Craft Tape from Spellbinders. By the way, I bought this machine with my own money. Nobody sent this to me, just so you know. And nobody sent me all of my other ones either, my Empress machines. I've purchased all of those. Hate this noise for you. I got some mint tape. I purchased this. This is the 1/2" mint tape. I don't even know what all I ordered. I'm just going in here. Oh, and I ordered some more of the Spellbinders magnetic panels. These are like a hard magnetic panel, perfect for die storage, more like temporary die storage. Okay, so we're down to the box in the box now. I'll just pull this off and pull this out. Okay, so we're down to the smaller box. This is the Anna Griffin Empress Elite, and I think I can sit down now again. So, got that out. Oh, hey, Simon. Thanks for stopping by. JJ's here, and Brenda's here. Welcome, everybody. We're just now getting to the unboxing of the Empress Elite. We're going to talk all about this machine today. I'm going to answer all your questions. We're going to demo it. We're going to see what's different about it because rumor has it it's quieter than the original one, which I didn't think the original one was that loud. Just my opinion. And it's supposed to be faster, and we might run like a side-by-side. So, good gravy. Okay, boom. Now, I ordered mine from scrapbook.com, and it looks like it came with the large plates, and we'll go over all of that here in just a minute. And dun-da-da-da! This is the box in the box in the box. This is the third box we are at now. Okay. Oh, look at that. We finally made it to the box for the Anna Griffin Empress Elite. Here's what I understand. I understand that, oh, why have you been nervous to open yours? Don't be nervous to open yours. You should totally open it and use it. My understanding is that there's nothing different as far as the pressure or the plates on this machine, that it's just gotten kind of a facelift, that it might be a little bit quieter, it might be a little bit faster, and that it comes now with a turntable. I'm going to show you why that wasn't a big deal to me, but I don't think they're going to be selling the original Empress anymore. So if you want an Empress, this is going to be the one that you bought. But if you already have an Empress, you may not need a new one just for this, okay? Just for the features that are on this. So I'm just being real with you. I'm going to turn this on its side because, let's be real, this is awkward to do on camera. Hello, Rhonda. It's very cold in northern Indiana, she said. Sophie's here. Hi, Sophie. Hi. Oh, my phone's dinging too. Okay, so power cord is in the box. Power cord, and it came with, it looks like large plates. We have the turntable here, and we have the machine. Okay, so plates, turntable. Now, one thing I will tell you is that at every place where they're selling this machine, I think the configuration is slightly different. So like at Home Shopping Network, it might come with both the regular size plates and the large plates. At scrapbook.com, it's coming with the large plates, but we'll open that up and just make sure. Tracy's here from Menifee, California. I am from California too, Tracy. Okay, so I'm just taking all the plastic off. Okay. And this machine is supposedly a little bit taller than the OG machine. We'll bring those in just a second. I'm going to just kind of get everything out of the plastic. Linda said she bought the Gemini a year and a half ago and she doesn't like it. I wish I would have gotten this. I have a Gemini and I like my Gemini Junior. Is it a Gemini or is it a Gemini Junior? The Gemini is a little bit larger. And, okay, so the thing about this one is the other one has like a lift up handle right here where you can grab it from the top. The handles on this one are on the side. I have my power cord and I have my turntable. I also have instructions, which I already know how to use this because it really does work the same as the original Empress. So this little turntable goes here and then you just seat the machine right on top of it. Let me tell my phone to stop for just a second. Okay, be quiet. And now it's not a super loose turn, but this machine turns so that when you send your plates through, you can just turn it and get to the back. Now, that's helpful for me in my situation. Let's see if it'll show like over here because there's not a lot of depth here. But then my lights turned off. Hold on. I don't know why those lights turned off. So it's helpful for me like when I'm working over here to be able to turn the machine so that the plates are not hitting the back of this over here. So this is what we're dealing with. It comes with a turntable. It's not super spinny. You have to move it with your hands, but it does turn. Let's open the plates. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. I have a little extension cord here so that we could plug everything in. Plug this in. And we're going to go to the back here. Now, oh, I know another thing that they changed, which also I don't think this is a big deal. But the Empress Elite now has a USB port on the back side so you can charge your phone or put your iPad there. That's not my jam. But, you know, if that's something that's cool to you, it is one of the features. Okay, so now we have it plugged in and this is the on button here. It illuminates, you can see. And then there's the forward button and the reverse button, which, okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, everything's working. Okay, let's go ahead, now that we have this plugged in and ready to go, let's open our plates and just make sure that I'm thinking it came with what it came with. So you can purchase additional plates for these from different places, and I have some of those linked in the YouTube description below. But if you're ever looking for just like a single magnet or something, those are available on Anna Griffin's website. I'm not affiliated with Anna Griffin. I just have been using the Empress machine for a while and loving it. And as I had suspected, another box, good grief. This comes with everything you need to die cut in the large plates. So it comes with the large plates and these measure, oh, it's not on this one, but I have a new set of plates over here. So these measure, the large plates measure 8.625 inches by 13.5 inches. These are big plates. So you can put a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock into this machine and die cut. Now here's the deal. I'm getting just a piece of paper to show you this. When a machine comes with large plates, it's a bonus for me. I think that is really cool because if you're doing a lot of die cutting at once, then I think that it can save you some time. So here's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. It fits on this plate, you can see. But I don't like to use these large plates in my everyday crafting because I find them cumbersome. So I love the fact that you can use these with different size plates. Now, clearly, because this machine comes with the large plates, you would have to purchase the regular size plates, but that's an option for you. And I'll show you the difference in the plate sizes here in just a moment. So These are huge plates. I don't like to use them on an everyday basis for my crafting, but if you're doing like large amounts of die cutting, then you might find them useful for that. But for an everyday thing, I don't love it, okay? So I'm gonna put the Empress Elite here. I'm gonna move her over here. And I'm gonna bring in the standard Empress. Now, for the standard Empress, they used to sell this crafty Lazy Susan. In fact, Elite, we're gonna have to move you over for just a second. This Lazy Susan is currently sold out. I don't know that they'll be replacing it because it is designed to work with the original Empress, which has the handle, and it doesn't have feet, but you can see the gold's a little different on this machine. I have this Lazy Susan sitting over here. I love it. We'll plug this one in as well so that we can use both of these. This Lazy Susan I like because, and like I said, I don't think it's available anymore, but it has some storage underneath it where I can put my plates. And you can see my used plates are here. It's a little dirty. It has some die cut hairs on it. But we're going to move the Lazy Susan out of the way. It does not come with the original Empress, so keep that in mind. It was an additional purchase. But we're going to bring the original Empress over here. We're going to plug it in and we're going to turn it on. Okay, so little bit different look here, but the new one comes with its own little turntable, which if you don't have the Lazy Susan is nice. I don't have it seated on there anymore. Okay, there we go. So you can see it doesn't spin like that Lazy Susan. But you can see the golds are a little different on these machines. This looks a little more updated, that sort of thing. It is taller, so it's about, I would say, an inch or so taller, but this one's also sitting on the Lazy Susan that it comes with, or the turntable. So the Empress Elite is a little taller, but as far as like length and width, they're pretty similar. Erica has a question. Do you use the reverse feature often? No, I don't. Unless something gets stuck or I send it in like crooked or something, or I'm afraid that something shifted, I'll reverse it out real quick, but I don't use the reverse feature often. You can, like, if you feel like something really needs to cut and you need to run it back and forth, you can use it for that, but I don't find that I need to do that. Brenda wants to know, can you use the glimmer plates on the letterpress? Brenda, I think what you mean is, can you use the glimmer and the letterpress with these machines, the Empress machine? You cannot. They are not compatible. So that's the thing. If you're going to get just one machine and you want one machine that can do everything, then this is probably not the machine for you. If you're just looking for a good electric die cutting machine, one that you don't have to crank because you like to do a lot of die cutting, then this is your machine. But PM Litz, I'm not sure like what that means, or I mean like what it stands for, but she wants to know, or PM Litz wants to know, does the Elite have to sit on the turntable? No, it does not. You can sit it on the feet directly on your work surface. So you do not have to sit it on the turntable. Okay, so now that we have both machines out, let's talk about plates. Okay, so we've seen both of these. Maybe we'll run a side-by-side test here in just a minute. I'm going to move the Elite to my left-hand side and the original, the OG, to my right-hand side. And we're going to talk about plates for just a second. So the Elite came with the large plates, which we said measured 8.625 inches by 13.5 inches. Huge. They're huge. Okay. Shh. So that's pretty big to use on a standard daily basis. You can also use These are the mini plates. They say small, but if you look on Anna Griffin's website, these are the mini plates. These are the ones that are compatible with the Anna Griffin Empress Mini, which I have up here. These are 7.5 inches by 4.25 inches. These will work in both the standard Empress or the Empress Elite. And the thing I love about this machine is that you can send these through long ways like this, or I guess horizontal, lengthwise, or you can run them through like this, so lengthwise. Okay, so those are available. You can purchase those separately. And I have some of these things linked in the YouTube description below. Here is what I would consider the standard size plates. These are considered the small plates. They measure 8 inches by 6.375 inches, okay? So 8 inches by 6.375. These are the ones that I use most of the time for all of my crafting. So it's just like, these are like the standard plates that I use all the time. Again, the cool thing about this is that you can run these through this way, or you can run them through this way. And that's true of both the Elite as well as the OG Empress. So that's cool, right? I love that, because if you're wanting to save just a couple of seconds, you want this sandwich to go through quicker, you're gonna run it through like this, wide. Or if you just don't care, you run it through tall, doesn't matter. I've done it both ways with the mini plates as well, and I find that it doesn't matter, although I think they recommend that you send them through long ways like this. Okay, so 3 size plates available. You can use them on either machine, so nothing is different as far as the plates go on the machines. They have not changed the plates, so you can still use all 3 size plates with either machine. So if you have the regular original Empress, I'm not sure that you need to upgrade. Let's do a quick test. Okay, so I'm gonna grab, now how do I cut with these? Normally I use just 2 clear plates and the magnetic shim, and I run these through. Okay, so that's how I would normally cut. I'm gonna grab another set out and we're gonna unwrap them. I keep extras on hand because if something gets messed up, I just don't want to have to stop crafting and working, so I keep extras. Yeah, you can, Wendy, you can definitely like reach behind it. In my case, over here where I'm working, it's not deep enough for the plates to run through without it hitting the wall, so a turntable is nice if you're working with a smaller work area. So, and now that it's included, it's just a bonus. So I'm gonna open these. We're gonna get some new ones out. How are you guys doing? Do you have any questions about what I've shown you so far? Does it all make sense? So 3 size plates used with 1 machine. You cannot use this with your Glimmer hot foil system or your Better Press system. So, but it cuts beautifully, it really does. So, these are what I would consider the standard size plates. Again, these measure 8 by about 6.375. Okay, so you can put a half sheet of cardstock on these. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put them both in, okay? The thing about the Empress that I wish was different is that I do wish that when you put it in, it would just automatically detect it and pull it through like the Gemini Junior does. That's what the Gemini Junior does, but unfortunately you do have to push a button to initiate the motor to pull the plates through. So I'm gonna just do this real quick. I'm gonna run these through and see if I see any difference in the time. So I have them both just engaged, and I'm gonna hit run on both of them. Oh, I'm trying to knock everything down. Okay, so unfortunately that did not grab right away. So let's try that again, although it did feel faster on the Elite. So let's see if I can do this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's more close. Out and out. Okay, so not a huge time saver there. You're not gonna like shave minutes off your crafting. It's pretty close as far as time. The Empress Elite was a little bit faster. Okay, noise wise, I don't know how to test this other than just to listen. So here's the Empress Elite. I mean, whatevs. Here's the Empress. They don't really sound that different to me, but I never thought my Empress was loud anyway. In fact, maybe this one's a little louder, but on the presentation, it says that this one's maybe a little bit quieter. I don't think you're going to notice. I really don't. So there you go. Question, Winnie wants to know, when do you use the metal shim? I find that for most of my die cutting, I am able to do it with just the 2 plates and the magnetic shim. If I need additional pressure, like I'm die cutting acetate or a really intricate item out of vellum, I will add my metal shim to the sandwich. Or if like I'm die cutting felt or something like that, then I will use my metal shim. If you've been using your magnetic shim for a while, you will find that it stretches and gets a little thinner over time because of all the pressure that you're putting on it. And so you may find that you use your magnetic shim in there as well. Sometimes when I'm die cutting glitter cardstock, I find that the magnetic shim is helpful. So the magnetic shim really I use only when I need a little extra pressure. So E. Miller says there are also Empress mini extra long plates. Yes, they are 10 inches long. Yes, those are available. And Empress mini 13-inch plates that can be used in the larger machine. Yes, 4 1/4 wide, and they're like 10 inches and 13 inches long. I have no use for those really, because if I don't really have a lot of long skinny dies. But if you're a scrapbooker and you have like 12-inch border dies that are just like thin, you might find those helpful. Karen says that she purchased the original Empress from HSN about a year ago and got it on sale. Then I purchased the turntable from Anna's site. I love this machine. It's great. I also purchased the largest plates. Yes, and like I said, I wasn't even going to upgrade my machine until I saw some questions coming through about the Elite on my channel. And so I really wanted to be able to answer the questions and show you these side by side. So I think it's going to be good information for those of you who don't know if you should upgrade. Honestly, I think if you have the original one, you're probably good. I don't know that you need to upgrade. The larger plates work with Anna's larger dies. Yes. Jen says that the pitch of the sound is different on the Elite and sounded just a tiny bit quieter. Maybe. So that's the Elite. This one sounds deeper. I don't know. In person, it's not really enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I have to get that. It's so much quieter. Michael's here. Hi, Michael. Have a great week. He says, thank you so much. So when you get the large plates, what I got from scrapbook.com were 2 of the large A plates, which are the clear plastic or the clear plates. I got a magnetic shim and a metal shim. So that's what came with my machine. They used to also include like a rubber embossing mat. Doesn't look like they're including that anymore. So, but I'm sure you can pick one of those up as a one-off on Anna's site. So anyway, if you haven't already and you are enjoying this look at the new Elite, would you mind giving me a thumbs up on this video? And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications. Thanks, you're a doll. Love you. I appreciate you all being here. Wow. Jen got her Empress for $100 and her mini for 60 without plates when Anna Griffin had a warehouse sale. So I won't be upgrading for a long time. Fabulous. That's a fabulous deal. Linda says, question, can you do a tutorial on the Gemini sometime? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I thought I followed the instructions, but my plate got bad and warped within a couple weeks of using user error. One of the reasons that people like this machine, Linda, is because they do find that they get significantly less warping on the plates. Now, I watched Anna Griffin's presentation on HSN, and she mentioned that she did not change anything about the pressure. I will show you my plates for my Empress that I've been using for a long time. You can see they are well loved. There's a lot of cutting that has gone on. I do have the tiniest bit of warp on this, but for the most part, my plates are really good. You can see the tiniest bit of warp on this one here. I do know that Gemini Junior plates do tend to warp because there's so much pressure in that machine. So here's the deal with die cutting machines. Like, pressure is good until it's not, right? And then, so you have to walk that balance of having enough pressure without having too much. I do have a video on my channel somewhere long ago where I talk about my favorite die cutting sandwich with the Gemini Junior. And you can look that up on my channel, and that might be something that is helpful for you. So I do have videos showing the Gemini Junior on my channel, so if you're looking for that. Tracy says she loves her Empress. It's her favorite and most used. I agree. I use it the most. It sits right next to me, which is why you can't really see it in my camera shot. It's too close, but it's the one that I use all the time for just my standard die cutting. Now, if I'm going to do like a glimmer hot foil, or if I'm going to do letterpress, then I do have my Spellbinders Platinum 6, and that is the other machine that I use. So, yeah, no problem, Linda. I hope you do look into that video. So let's just do this. I'm going to just show you this because I think a lot of people don't realize this. I'm going to move OG Empress back over here, and we're going to bring in Empress Elite. Now, this is true of both of the machines. I just want to point this out. This is not unique to the Elite. It is true of both of the machines. You can run these plates through this way or this way, and I'm just going to show you that because I think I want you to believe me. Delia wants to know, did those plates come with the machine? Delia, the large plates came with the machine. The large plates are super large. They are this big. They measure 8.625 by 13.5. You can buy this standard size, which is called the small plates, on Anna Griffin's website, and I do have some of them linked below. So we just ran it through this way. Now I'm going to show you that you can run it through this way. Just like that. Okay, so you can run these through both ways. Same is true of the mini plate system. I do find that with my mini plates, when I'm using these, and by the way, we went through this earlier, but I will tell you again, the mini plates measure 7.5 by 4.25 inches. They work also with this machine, but I find that with my mini plates, I get a little more warping, as you can kind of see. I don't know why, but I do. I get a little more warping, and I also find that I need my metal shim with these plates, and I don't necessarily need it with my standard size plates. So these can go through this way, or this way, this way here. Now, I don't know that this is recommended, but I do it this way. And you can turn this, so if you're working, I'm just keeping it stationary, but obviously it turns. This is what Hanshaw says the gold has a green hue. So they're calling this a champagne gold, and they're calling the other one like a gold. I don't know. I mean, whatever. If I was going to design the perfect machine, it would not be this. Okay. I don't buy this machine for the color. I buy it because it's a great machine. And truth be told, I have purchased with my own money 2 of the original Empress machines and now one of the Empress Elite machines. So I've done a lot of purchasing of these machines with my own money, and they are my favorite. So the machine came with the large. You can get the small or the mini that are compatible. Most of the time I only use 2 clear plates and a magnetic plate to cut, but I thought, you know, let's die cut something, right? I'm just gonna grab a die from my stash up here. I'm just grabbing, and I'm gonna show you how I decide when to use either the magnetic shim to cut into, or if I cut into the plastic or the clear cutting plates. Now, on Anna Griffin's most recent presentation on HSN when this was launched, she just cut right into the magnetic shim and nothing else. That's all she did. She cut into mine, or cut into the magnetic shim and not the plastic plates. But what I find the plastic plate helpful for sometimes is if I'm cutting something that's a little more stubborn, but I don't necessarily need to use the metal shim. So like if I'm using something like vellum, that's a little more delicate. Or if I'm finding like glitter cardstock needs a little extra pressure or a little like something to like cut into, then I will use the plastic shim, or the clear cutting plate. Most of the time I do most of my cutting right into the magnetic shim, just like this. Now, you can flip this back and forth, but I will tell you the magnet is much stronger on the side where there is the grid. And this one is old and loved, but I'll show you. This is what it looks like when it's brand new and it's clean. So the magnet is gonna stick on that side. It is not, I mean, it sticks, but it will move much easier on the opposite side of the magnet. You can see, look, it's on there on the grid side. It is not as on there on the opposite side. So it's much more magnetic on this side than it is on the other. So most of the time, especially if I'm going to stamp and then die cut an image, I'm die cutting directly into the magnetic shim, even sometimes when I'm not needing to line it up. But this way I know that I can just kind of keep everything in place, nothing's gonna shift, and I can run this through my machine. So if I was gonna design my perfect die cut machine, it would be this, but it would just be white. It wouldn't be this cream color because I think it looks a little dingy. And I love gold, but I wouldn't necessarily put it on my die cut machine. So, I mean, if I had my druthers, yes, it would be a different color. But you can see I'm using old plates, old shims, and these are some Concord and 9th dies. I have beautiful cuts. There are no like little hairs or anything like that. Let me see if I can get it to focus a little bit better. No little hairs or anything like that. Everything cut beautifully. PM Litz said, will the Magic Mat work in the Elite? Honestly, I don't know. I have never had great success with the Magic Mat. It's not, I just haven't had great success with it. I find it warps a lot on the machines that I've used in the past. But if you go to the scrapbook.com website, they should have compatibility information on their Magic Mat and kind of tell you how to use the Magic Mat with each one of those. So I would say I'm not an expert on the Magic Mat. I can't speak to that, but they should have that compatibility information on their website under that product description. So I'm just giving you guys my honest opinion on this. I'm just unboxing with you because I wanted to show you. But like I said, most of the time, I'm just cutting right into the magnet. And then every now and then I'll replace the magnet or I'll replace the plate. Keep in mind, plates and shims for a die cut machine that you are cutting into are going to break down over time. They are not meant to be something that lasts forever. So just keep in mind that these are a consumable product and you're going to have to replace them every so often. You will find that if you use newer plates and newer magnets and that sort of thing, you're going to get cleaner cuts. You're going to get more precise cuts. And it's worth the investment to, just replace these every once in a while. They're not meant to last forever. Just because there's so much pressure and you're digging like metal into these things, they're gonna wear out, they're gonna have breakdown over time, and you will need to eventually replace them. And that's not a bad thing. If you're getting to the point where you're not getting good cuts anymore, I say the first thing that you need to do is try replacing your plates. And I bet you that fixes it. So anyway, Linda says she finds on her Platinum 6, she gets her best cut blades up with the plastic plate on top, just takes more time to tape on. Okay, so that's another thing. Get to know your machine and what your machine likes. Now, you can rotate these plates to try to avoid warping and that sort of thing. You can cut blade up and then just lay your cardstock. Let's just do it. You can die cut into the clear plastic A plate here. I'll show you that here. And like I said, sometimes I do, because sometimes I find that like vellums and stuff, they die cut a little bit better when they have that hard plastic clear plate behind them. But you can see I just placed my die with the blades up facing the A plastic or clear plate, and I got beautiful cuts on this as well. So keep that in mind. There's a couple ways you can die cut, and I just usually choose the way that I die cut based on either one, I want it to stay in place, or if I feel like it needs just that extra bite for like vellum or glitter cardstock, then I will die cut it into that clear A plate instead. So hopefully this information is helping all of you and helping you make decisions about whether or not you should upgrade. As I said, I had not planned on upgrading at all. I just wanted to upgrade and I purchased this machine so that I really could just answer questions here on it and kind of show you the differences and that sort of thing. So hopefully you're enjoying this information and finding this helpful. Does anybody have any specific questions that I can answer for you? Anything that you want to see? Throw it out there. I would love to answer that for you while I put my dies back so I don't lose them. Tracy says, I clean mine with a toothbrush and soap and water here and there. Yeah, that's a good idea. I will say that the other thing that will help you get better cuts is if you remove the little paper pieces from your plates and your shims and that sort of thing. If you have like little pieces or bits of cardstock stuck on here, you're going to want to take those off because they will leave an impression, on your paper that you're die cutting. Also, if you're using like a metallic cardstock and your plate looks like this, you're going to get this texture into that metallic cardstock. So make sure that, like if I were going to cut into a metallic cardstock, I would make sure I'm using my cleanest plate to touch that cardstock so that I don't get all of this texture into my cardstock. Allison says she's late to the party, but how does it do with 3D embossing? Honestly, when I have to do 3D embossing, I just go to my Platinum 6 because I find it easier. but we could try it out. Let's see if we have some information in the guide here. So it shows you in here all the plates that are available. Wendy says, I wasn't interested in upgrading, but wanted to watch your video to hear your cheerful voice and your opinion on the new Elite model. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here, whether or not that, you know, you were planning on upgrading. The point of this was really just to get information out to you and, you know, just help people make decisions. It wasn't, you know, to convince you to. I love this machine, but... So it only shows embossing with a standard embossing folder. It doesn't show with a 3D. So I hesitate to try it because I don't want to break anything. I know Christina Warner's done some 3D embossing with hers in the past. You might want to go back and try to find that. But we would just probably have to fumble our way through figuring out what the right sandwich is for that. For a standard embossing folder, it's the embossing folder and the paper with the 2 clear A plates, no magnetic shim on either side. So that's what it's saying there. Kimberly wants to know, what kind of glitter cardstock do you use? All the ones I have used don't cut easily, and the plastic backing doesn't help. I have both sizes of the Empress machines. I use a few different kinds of glitter cardstock. Shall I get some? We could try that. A couple of the ones that I use are from, I have boxes in my way, so excuse me while I trip over them to get to my glitter cardstock. I use glitter cardstock from Pink Fresh Studio, from Concord and Ninth. I use it from Altenew, and I generally do okay with all of them. So I will just pull out a couple here. This is Pink Fresh Studio, this is Altenew, and maybe we'll just run a little test on that, okay? I mean, we could take some calipers and we could measure the size of the die cutting sandwich with a die and a piece of cardstock in there, and we could try to figure out what size we would need for the 3D embossing folder. That could be. If you had a minute, I could like go out and get my calipers. The sandwich, Trudy says, the sandwich for 3D folders, according to Amy R. and Kathy Z, is 1 clear plate plus the metal shim and the 3D embossing folder. Okay, well, let's try that in just a second. I'm going to grab my small plates. This is, oh, the other cardstock that I like to use, the other glitter cardstock that I like to use is the Diamond Glitter cardstock from the Stamp Market. It's one of my favorites. It's just beautiful. This is a glitter cardstock from Altenew. I'm going to die cut directly into the magnetic shim. I'm using the mini plates. The mini plates, as I mentioned before, I find that I need to use the metal shim with them. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I find that I get better results with the mini plates when I use the metal shim. Now, this cut through, but I'll show you. It's really sticking in there and you kind of have to push it out, but it did cut through. Sometimes when I'm doing something like this, I find it a little bit easier to cut. This is where I mentioned before, sometimes there's just instances where I feel like cutting into the clear plastic plate, the A plate, is a little bit better. But I was able to get great results on this. So you just have to kind of pull it out. So Lori says, I have the Empress machines, new and old one, and have seen the issues cutting acetate with either one of them. Is there a trick I'm missing on how to get acetate to die cut? Put a piece of cardstock behind your acetate and use the metal shim. So we did it that way. Let's just do a little test here and die cut this again. So do you see how it's kind of spinning around? I don't have to worry about that when the magnet is in place, but let's do this. Also, the other thing I want to say about 3D embossing, I want to go back to that for just a second. 3D embossing folders are different from every company. So that's another thing that could affect your die cutting sandwich, is that every company is just a little bit different. And so keep in mind that you may have to play with your sandwiches for different companies. So let's cut into the plastic, the clear A plate. I use my platinum for embossing. Lori says, I use my platinum for embossing because I am chicken and do not want to break my machine embossing with a 3D folder. I hear you, sister. Sometimes it's just, rather than figuring it out, my Platinum 6 has the stuff all figured out for me. And so I don't have to like think about it as hard. So sometimes I just grab my Platinum 6 and do my 3D embossing with that one. Now I got a great cut in both of these. I feel like it's coming out of the negative space a little bit easier when I cut into the actual clear plastic A plate, but that's die cutting glitter cardstock with that. Kimberly says the Sizzix embossing folders are thick. Yes, I do find that embossing folders are different for every company. So you may have to play with your sandwich for every single one of them. In fact, even with my Platinum 6, there's times where I find like, oh, that was too much pressure, or maybe I needed to add a shim or something like that. So hopefully that helped. Die cutting with glitter cardstock. I'm looking through to see if there's any other questions. Lori, or E. Miller, says she agrees with Lori. She'd rather not have a $15 folder break a $300 plus machine. Sometimes, you know, it's just whatever's easiest. Now, can you mess around with this and figure it out? I'm sure you can. Let's grab a 3D embossing folder. As I mentioned, all of them are going to be a little bit different, but let me go grab one real quick. In fact, you know what? I probably have one right here. This is an all-to-new Sun-Kissed Blossoms 3D embossing folder. Let's just see what happens, okay? First of all, I'm going to use, this is hammer mill cardstock because I have a bunch of it cut. And I'm just going to place it in here. And I'm going to just feel what it feels like. Okay, I can feel that there's plenty of give through the machine. I don't have it engaged. With one A plate, which is the clear plate, the embossing folder, and the cardstock. So to me, that tells me there's not enough pressure to actually emboss. So let's try it with this and feel what it feels like. Oh, my camera just went out for just a second. I still feel like this is not enough pressure. I'm going to run that through. I can feel it's light on the pressure. And yeah, there's nothing happening here. That was not nearly enough pressure. Now, if I take two, this is probably going to be way too much pressure. Yeah, I don't know if I'm willing to do that. I might do it on my old one. This is my regular Empress. Okay. I just reversed it out because I could feel immediately when it started to engage way too much pressure. So 3D embossing folders might be a little bit trickier with the Empress. I just like these two A plates was too much, an A plate and a metal shim. And of course, this is an all-to-new 3D embossing folder. It's probably going to be different than other ones, but this was not enough. So there you go. When I go to do 3D embossing folders, I'm normally going to use my Platinum 6. This is my workhorse for standard die cutting. That's what I do with my Empress. I get great results with it all the time. But if I'm going to do other things, I'm usually reaching for my Platinum 6. So. Crystal says, I turn the machine on to start rolling before I put my items in it to make sure it will grab. I need to read the manual to make sure that's not bad. I don't think that's bad. So Trudy says, it's been a while. I think maybe the magnetic plate along with the metal shim and the clear plate. Ooh, I feel like that's going to be too much. But I'm going to feel what it feels like. Maybe. Oh, there you go, Trudy. That was right. I feel like it's the right amount, but let's see what we got. I did it on my old one because if I'm going to break something, I'm going to break the one that I've had for a while. Not the one I just took out of the box. Trudy is the winner. So I did get good 3D embossing with that. All to new Sunkissed 3D Blooms embossing folder. And the sandwich that I used, thank you, Trudy, was a clear A plate, a metal shim, which comes with the plate set when you purchase it, and the magnetic shim. So thank you, Trudy. So those of you who are asking about the 3D embossing sandwich for the Empress or Empress Elite, the A plate, metal shim, and the magnetic shim. That worked good. Do I have a thin plastic shim? Not that came with the Anna Griffin Empress. I have that with my Gemini Junior. And I do have a rubber mat that I use for embossing with a die. These no longer come standard with the Anna Griffin Empress plate setup with the machine, but anyway, you can do that. Clear plate and a shim with the Simon Says stamp embossing folder because they are thicker. Okay, so Jen says to use a clear plate and a shim with the Simon Says stamp embossing folder because it's a little thicker. Yeah, so embossing folders are going to vary, so you may have to play with that. So anyway, Erica says, yeah, I'm still too chicken to do embossing, die cutting only for me. I agree, but I will show you on this. If you have the rubber mat, the embossing mat, which is the C mat, and I think you can purchase this separately. If you wanted to emboss with a die or do an impression with a die, what I do is I substitute the C rubber embossing mat for my magnetic mat. So I have an A plate, the C rubber embossing mat, my die, and my paper. Nothing to hold it in place because, of course, there's no magnet in there. And then I run this through my die cutting machine. 7277 Lizbeth is here. Hello, Carissa and Crafty Friends. Hello. So yeah, and then Crystal's mentioning that the Sizzix is the folder and paper by itself, no shims or plates. See, everybody's different on their things. So you can see I got an impression with a die there with using this C die embossing mat. So you can do that with a standard die and the embossing mat. So what other questions can I answer? We've been live for about an hour now. If there's any other questions, I'd love to answer them for you before I head out. I didn't get my Sunday nap today, so feeling like I'm ready for one, but now it's too late to take a nap. Now I just have to go to bed early, right? I would love to answer any questions for you. As I mentioned before, I did link some of these shims and such in the YouTube description. If you've enjoyed this look at this new Anna Griffin Empress Elite, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you're watching on replay, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer those. But I would love to get any questions here before we head out. Irene says, if you could only purchase one machine, which would you prefer? Now, I think I addressed this earlier, Irene. If you can only do one machine in your whole craft room and it needs to do everything, you need to do foiling, you need to do letterpress, you need to do embossing folders, then what I would say is that the Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine will do all of those things. If you want one machine that does die cutting like superb, this is your machine. But you're not going to get your letter press to work or your better press to work with this. You're not going to get your glimmer system to work with this. This is really just about die cutting. I do a lot of die cutting, and sometimes I do, glimmer hot foil, and sometimes I do other things, and I have the Platinum 6 as well. So if you only can do one machine and you need it to do everything, then maybe you want to go with the Platinum 6 because it does do hot foil. It does do 3D embossing folders well. It, does better press, glimmer, all the things. So I would leave it at that. Any other questions I can answer for you? Anything you need to see? Allison says the timing of this was perfect. Thank you, Carissa. I'm so glad. Like I said, I really just did this because someone had put a comment on one of my videos and was like, I don't think that all the plates work anymore, and so I don't want to get the Elite. Well, that's not true. All the plates that worked with the standard Empress now work with the Elite. You saw that there's not a huge change in the machine itself. So if you already have the OG Empress, you probably don't need to upgrade. It does have the USB port. It comes with the little turntable, and the buttons are prettier because there's no black on the top. And it's a personal preference as far as which gold you prefer. So anyway, let's see. Linda says, thank you so much, Carissa, for all the information and sharing your experience. I'm so glad that I could share it with you. Oh, yes, Crystal, I forgot about this. Now, here's the deal, because Irene asked about one machine. I don't have this machine, but the Gina K, what's it called? The dial, it has a dial on it. That machine, excuse me, will also work with the letterpress, the Better Press letterpress system, the Glimmer hot foil system, die cutting, 3D embossing. So, excuse me, but I have no experience with that machine. I've never tried it, but I know that there are people who are really fans of that one too. So if you want to look into that one, you can, but I can't speak to it because I've never used it. Oh, Trudy says it's called the Intricate Machine. Yes, Intricate Machine. I don't have any experience with it, but I've heard it's a great machine as well. So, and it has a little dial where you can increase the pressure. So I did miss that one earlier. So one machine, if you had to use one machine, either the Spellbinder's Platinum 6 or the Intricate would be good options. If you're just looking for something that die cuts super well, then it's the Empress. And if you don't want to always crank through. We used the Empress machine to do kitting for, I did an in-person class. We had to make 125 kits, 4 cards each, and we did a ton of die cutting. We did it all with the Empress. My husband knows how to use this machine. My daughter knows how to use this machine because I trained them so that they could help me with all that kitting. And a lot of people are saying that they love the Intricate, or they're still learning the Intricate, or they love their Intricate. So that's an option as well for you. As I said, I don't have it. I've never used it, so I can't speak to it. I just really thought I should share this with you. So let's go to this. Let's go to this. If you haven't already, then make sure that you subscribe, you like this video, you turn on the notifications here so that you don't miss any of my card making, paper crafting, live streams that I share here. I am going to go live this week on Friday. We're going to do some, I think it's Friday. We're going to do some crafting. I don't know what I'm going to be using yet, but I have a feeling I know what I'm going to be using. Yep. Friday the 24th at noon Pacific time, I will be live here again. We'll do Carissa Crafts Live, and we will do, we'll just have a good time. Love watching you make beautiful cards and learn a lot from you. Thank you, Tawana. That's so sweet. Trudy says she loves her Empress and would not trade it for any other electronic machine. And Jen says she feels like the Empress is less intimidating than other electric machines. So That's all good information. Regine says, thank you for all the information. That's what I'm here for. I would love to share more information like this. So if there's something specific that you want to see in the future, let me know either in the live chat or in the comments if you're watching on replay. Thanks for joining me today. I love chatting. I love connecting with all of you. But for now, I'm going to go chat and connect with my husband who's out there watching football. I'm sure he'll be glad to have me back in his little world today. So thanks for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my card making and paper crafting video tutorials. Thanks again, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.